Hello, 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 everyone. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your host for this evening where, yes, we are going to talk about how you can still get grants as a Black-owned business or a Black-led nonprofit. So as you come in, say hello, say hello, say hello, and give that city and that state a shout out. Give the city and the state a shout out. There we go. Let me know who is coming in with me. I see you coming in. Don't be shy. I'm in the land, by the way. I'm near Cleveland, Ohio, where, oh, we are still upset about those Cavaliers. But tell me where you're coming in from. Give that city and the state a shout out. Hello, Rhonda from Oklahoma City, and Kenneth from Virginia, and Kenya from Gary, Indiana. We know what Gary is famous for, right? And Kara B from Daytona Beach, Florida. Hello, is it Bernai from New Jersey and Tressa from the ATL? Hello. Oh, look at the ATL showing up. Tressa and Sophia are from the ATL. And Annette from Baltimore. And oh my goodness, we have Tess Grimes from Wetumpka, Alabama. My mother was born in Wetumpka, Alabama. I went there for the first time ever last year. How amazing is this? Samantha, hello, Samantha from South Carolina, and Carletta from Georgia. Ah, Angie is bringing up Ohio. She's coming in from Akron, where my alma mater is, and Jacqueline from Georgia, and Yolanda from Louisville, Texas. And hello, Sherry from Gary. Look at Gary. Look at Gary, Indiana showing up today. And Marcus from Gwinnett, Oklahoma, and Byron and Lenore from Tallahassee, Florida. Welcome, everyone. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your hostess for this evening. I am so glad that you decided to join so that you could get the correct information about what is going on with grants. And so that hopefully you will walk away encouraged, understanding and knowing that absolutely there are still grants available as we welcome Barbara from Warner Robins, Georgia. And let's see. Kenya. Yes, 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 yes. You are up here in the house. All right. And Stephanie from Florida, the Sunshine State. Absolutely. Florida's coming in strong too. A lot of Floridians are here tonight. I am going to get started because I do have a lot of information to share with you. And without further ado, I'm going to share my screen so that this presentation can start. And as I always say, when I share my screen, because we are very much live, come through technology, come on through technology. All right, that is looking good. All right, all right, all right. Let's see, where are we here? It's trying to hide from me. All right, there we go. All right, we are looking good. We are looking good. No, 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 no. That's not what's supposed to happen. No, no, no. We're gonna try this one more time. We're gonna try it one more time. All right. Let's see if it wants to cooperate now. There we go. All right. Got to start from the beginning. Grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits. Want to make sure everybody's in the right place. So this is the 7 p.m. session. We were live at noon and we had really such a great time. So many great questions were asked, and we'll get to that a little bit later. And I know we're going to have a good time tonight. All right. All right. Come on, little mouse. There we go. Now, let me formally introduce myself. My name is Linda Peavy, and yes, they do call me the Grants Queen because I have secured, now it's almost $18 million in grants, and I provide grant writing workshops all over the country. This is year 17 of me owning my company, LaPop Consulting, and every one of those years I have been a professional grant writer. So now I teach grant writing to many different organizations, large and small. I travel the country. If you want for me to perhaps give you private sessions, I teach organizations that are private to your major organizations, grant writing, from the Urban League to Goldman Sachs. And I am a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. And my undergraduate and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Someone is here from Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And yes, I have a business, but I used to lead a nonprofit. So I have been on both sides of the coin. All right. So let me know who is here with me today. Let me know in the chat. Are you a small business, meaning you could be a sole proprietor, right? Or an LLC or partnership? Or are you a nonprofit? Or are you both? Because I'm finding that a lot of for-profits are opening up nonprofits. So maybe you have both. All right, let me know. LLC, small business, nonprofit, both. Excellent. All right, LLC, nonprofit, LLC, lots of LLCs, small business, both. All right, excellent. So I ask you this question at the beginning so that you understand clearly there are grants for both entities. Yes, there are grants for you as a nonprofit and there are grants for you as a small business. All right, so you're in the right place. I'm going to talk about grants for both. All right, as we move forward. Now, we're all family here tonight, right? Because I like to keep it real. I'm letting you know now. I like to keep it real. All right. So, how did I get in this space? I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania and I got hurt. I had just phenomenal job traveling like all over the world. And then I got hurt. When I got hurt, I literally came back home in a wheelchair. Took me 2 years to recuperate. I went from traveling the world to putting everything I own into a storage unit and moving in with my sister for 4 years. Took me 2 years to even get to the point where I could work again. And when I was well enough to work, I couldn't find a job. So that's when I started LaPop Consulting. And it's been 17 years. I haven't looked back. So when I tell you I started from zero, I think I started from sub-zero because I had to get well first. Goose egg, nothing. So I know where a lot of you are. All right. And it's been 17 years. Now, when I started, one of my first contracted positions was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. And I don't think I was there for maybe 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary, right? For the whole year. Now, people, I had never seen a grant before. I had no knowledge of grants, no knowledge of grants. But here I am needing to write a grant that would save my job, thus save the organization. All right. And let me say to you that some of you know that there are times when people who look like us are called in to do what? To save the day, to save sometimes the program, sometimes to save the entire organization. So if you know what I mean, give me a yes in the chat. If you know what I mean, give me a yes in the chat. All right. All right. Yeah, I see some yeses. I see some yeses. But I did it. I did it. I researched, I wrote that grant. I won that grant. It paid for my salary for a year. So I'm here to let you know that absolutely you can not just write, you can win grants with no experience, with zero experience. There's a framework that I have learned, that I have created, right? That I'm teaching you part of it tonight because it is so important to be in a community of support, right? To be able to use a proven framework. And that's what I'm going to teach you part of tonight. All right. And it taught me what you can do with grant money because I know some of you are tired of using all of your money to fund your nonprofit or your small business. Are you tired of reaching in your pocketbook? I'm old school. I still say pocketbook, right? Or pocket to spend this money on your organization. Why not try to use somebody else's money to help fund your organization, right? Grants are not paid back. Or Are you tired of wearing all 20 hats? Right? Do you need just a little bit of help? Grant money can be spent on support for you, on staff for you, right? So why not? Why not go after funding from some other organization that you don't have to pay back? All right. So we'll talk more about what you can do with grant money as we move through. What else will we talk about? Some keys to funding. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on with grants right now. And then how do you prepare to apply? This is so important. You need to be grant ready. And then what do you write in the application? How do you write the application so that you are getting noticed in a sea of applications? And I'm going to show you how to conduct grant research so that you know how to find the organizations that still want to give you funding, even as a Black organization. And then I have a list of grants for you so that you understand that there are still grants available for you as a Black organization, regardless of what you are seeing on TV. All right. And then we're going to do a thorough Q&A. So don't be shy. This is your opportunity to ask a grants expert your questions about grants, right? Place them either the chat or the Q&A, one or the other, and I will go through every one of them at the end of this webinar. Now, I am here to help you because you need help right now, because there have been every single fence, boulder, challenge, right, roadblock, you name it, put in front of you so that you can not get this grant money. All right. I'm not going to be one of them, right? I'm here to help you. All right. So you are not going to pay for this replay. You will get a replay for free and you will have it tonight and you will have it forever because it doesn't have some expiration date on it. Because I need for you to get this information. I need for you to share it with other organizations because a lot of people are not going to be telling you what you are going to hear tonight, but you need to be able to share it with other communities of color so that you all understand that the grant money is still available. And I'm going to show you how to get it. Got it? All right, all right, all right. Now, let's get going. Why are we here? Because we as Black organizations, we need access to money. And guess what? It shouldn't always be about loans. Are you tired of hearing about loans as I am? You want grant money because grant money is not paid back. But let me say this to all of you. You can do this. You can write grants. All right. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You're not sitting in some corner writing some 500-page document for 3 months at a time. I know all about it because it is exactly what I used to do. All right. Now, some grant applications are literally 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. All right. So you can do this, but what you must understand is that there's a process to winning. And it is about more than just answering a question on an application. There's an entire process. And I've built a framework around this process so that you understand what you need to do. And yes, it is about more than just answering a question and sending off an application. That's actually a quick way to get a rejection letter. All right. So I'm going to show you the process. Now, let's start off with what is going on with grants. Now, you know that the federal government, they have basically frozen all grants, decreased grants. They literally turned back grants that they approved before. But here's what you must understand. Federal grants do not equal all grants. All right. I rarely even discuss federal grants because they're difficult to get. Typically, you need significant grant writing experience to win them, right? I've won many in the past. They're usually large dollar, and they also oftentimes require partnerships, all right? Which is fine. But I typically talk about private, community, family, and corporate foundation grants, and they are still plentiful, right? And they cover nonprofits and small businesses, so you are covered, right? And this is what I need for you to understand. Grants come from thousands of resources, right? Beyond the federal government. So I need for you to be encouraged because grants are still very much available. They're just not coming from the federal government, and that is okay. But a very unique opportunity exists for you right now. It's like, who knew, right? That you could be in a better place now to get a grant than even last year. Why? Because one, there is misinformation circling out there that there are no grants available, that the federal grants included all grants. Is not true. So what does this mean? It means there are fewer people literally applying for these grants that are still plentiful. So that means you need to swoop in and start applying for this grant money. That's number one. Number two, because the federal government, they have decreased grants, the local and corporate and family foundations are literally increasing the amount of their giving, trying to fill in the gaps, right, that have been left by these federal grant cuts, because the need is greater than ever, right? But now you have billions of dollars out of the market because of the federal cuts. But here's your local community foundations and corporate foundations and family foundations that are literally increasing their funding, right? So it means you need to connect, especially with your local community, with your local community foundation, with your local corporations, and start creating those relationships and getting those grants. All right. Now, also, what I need for you to do is diversify your funding. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. You should be seeking grants, yes, but also sponsorships, individual donations, corporate contracts. And yes, by the way, if you are a small business, you don't have to be a conglomerate to get a corporate contract. You can be a solopreneur. You can be a consultant. You can be a coach and get corporate contracts. Yes. And then your donor advisory funds, which are typically found in your local community foundations. Now, here's the great news. I talked to you before about the fact that the local community foundations and your corporate and your private foundations are literally stepping in to try to cover the gaps left by the federal grant cuts. All right, but here's something else that's happening. Your state and local governments are continuing with providing grants, because not all money that is filtered down to the state and local governments come from the federal government. States and local governments oftentimes raise their own funding, right? Literally just 2 weeks ago, I was in a meeting and there's a new like $30 million Ohio grant given by the state that's available. Last week, I learned about a grant in Michigan given by the state of Michigan, right? It was like $20 million is going to be filtered down throughout the state of Michigan. This money is available. So I need you to be encouraged and understand that grants are very much available. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, we know that the majority of people who have benefited have been what? White women, right? But DEI covers women of all ethnicities and minorities and communities of color and veterans and the disabled. So here's what's happening though. You have foundations and organizations that give to DEI communities, but at the same time, they understand the pushback, right? And the wrath that's coming from the White House. But at the end of the day, this is what they do. They give to these communities. So they're needing to tweak their language a bit so that they can still give the money to who they want to give the money to without receiving the wrath of what's coming out of DC, right? And this is what you're going to do in just a moment. But here's some good news. There are foundations that are literally doubling down on their efforts to fund DEI. Foundations like the Ford Foundation, the Kellogg Foundation, right? You go to their websites, they are clear in saying, we fund racial equity, right? That is our mission. That is what we do. That is what we will continue to do, right? And then you have even some of the newer foundations like Google and Apple and Delta and Costco, right? They have a mission to fund DEI, but they know they can't use the terminology. So they're using other terminology. They're not changing who they fund. They're changing how they describe who they fund. And this is what I need for you to do. All right? Because at the end of the day, Your goal is to get the grant money, even if you have to tweak that language a bit. You're not changing who you serve. You're changing how you describe who you serve, right? So it's called coded language. We call it quiet DEI because you're going to focus on outcomes and barriers instead of exact ethnicities or genders. Still focusing on the same target population, but wording it differently. Let me give you some examples. So let's say your program offers youth development opportunities for Black boys. That's who you serve. You serve Black boys. You don't change who you serve. You change how you describe who you serve. So now you can say we provide youth development for historically underserved and underrepresented boys. Black boys, right? Quiet DEI. Serving boys disproportionately impacted by economic and educational inequities. Black boys, right? Supporting boys from communities designated as high need or underrepresented in STEM, if that's your program. Again, you don't change who you serve, you change how you describe who you serve. Same for women. Let's say you have an LLC, you provide employment and career coaching for women. That's what you do. You don't change who you serve, you change how you describe it. Now you can say our program offers workforce development support for those facing systemic barriers to career advancement. Women, right? Providing career development services tailored to those who experience unique workforce challenges due to caregiving responsibilities, wage gaps, and systemic inequities. Do you understand what I am doing? Because this is very important. So let me know if you get this. Give me a yes in the chat if you get what I am doing. Now, there will be times when you don't have to change a word. When you read about that grant, it will say racial equity or communities of color. But if it doesn't, right, read between the lines, look for this language. All right, underrepresented, underserved, right? Systemic barriers, so that you know that's your code. I need to apply. You got it? Everybody got it? I see some yeses. Yes, 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 yes. All right, all right. Excellent. Now, let's go back to grant basics. What do you need to know? Grants are not paid back. Now, I'm just talking to nonprofits for the next minute. Get your 501c3. That's your tax-exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. Make sure you look into the chat because we're going to be dropping some really important information in the chat. So if you want to get your 501c3, the IRS link is in the chat. All right. This is important because foundations now, they require that you have your 501c3 if you are a nonprofit. I'm only talking about nonprofits right now. All right. Now, from this point forward, I'm talking to everybody in this presentation, small businesses and nonprofits, especially with this next slide. Everybody look at this slide. U.S. grant annual funding. These are the latest numbers from 2023, and they're expected to increase, by the way. Foundation, corporation, and bequest giving to a smaller extent, but mainly foundations and corporations. $189 billion. Billion would it be? This is the money that's being given out every day. It hasn't gone anywhere, right? $189 billion. Billion would it be, right? I want you to look at this number. Don't be intimidated. Don't think, oh, Linda, that's just, I'll never get any of that money. Because what I want you to do is focus on what you need. You know what you need for your organization, right? Because at the end of the day, you really just need a little bit of $189 billion. So right now, everybody in the chat, I want you to write, I just need a little bit. I just need a little bit. That's what I want you to write in this chat right now. Focus on what you need and don't be intimidated when you see these large numbers, right? That's right, Kenya. Sophia, are you going to be greedy? Makila, Rhonda, are you trying to get all $189 billion, Bernai? Right? Or will you just accept a slice of this pie? Right? This is a huge pie. All right. So focus on what you need, right? And not these huge numbers because you can do this. You just need a little bit of this $189 billion, Pastor Lenore, right? You just need your share. And that's what I want you to focus on, getting your share of this amount. because it is more than possible. All right. But first, we need for you to be grant ready. I need for you to be prepared to write grant. First, I just want you to get help writing. All right. And it doesn't matter. You could be a professional writer. I am a professional writer. I am a professional grant writer. I am also a professional editor. I wouldn't write without Grammarly. If you use Grammarly right now, give yourself some love in the chat. It is a free software editing tool. You download it onto your computer. As you are writing, it will self-correct, right? So who is using Grammarly? Yes, Stephanie, Rhonda, Kathy uses it, right? It's phenomenal. Cherry uses it. Reverend Kenneth, Ayana, Kenya, I wouldn't write without it, right? Why is this important? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. As a former publisher, that's already a pet peeve of mine, right? But one of my services is that I review grant applications, and it does not matter how many letters you have behind your name, you need editing help, right? There's no such thing as a perfect grant application, just like there was no such thing as a perfect manuscript, right? Download it is free. It is free. And courtesy of Grammarly, we have this article, Improve Writing Skills Dramatically by Doing These 15 Things. Download it. It will only help you. All right. Now, how else are you going to become grant ready? You get your documents in order, your EIN, your employer identification number. Nonprofits, you need your 501c3. Now, especially businesses, are you a legitimate organization? Do you have those articles of incorporation? Now, you know, in some states, you also need a state certification. I know in Ohio, as a business, you must have a business license. It's the same way in Georgia, Florida. You don't need one in Wyoming, believe it or not. Excuse me, there are some states where you don't need a business license. That's amazing, but true. It's up to the state. So check with your Secretary of State. Find out whether or not you need a business license also. All right. Now, nonprofits, you know, it is a requirement that you have a board of directors. So get that list together. All right. All right. Now, letters of support will only strengthen your application, right? Let the foundation know that you have organizations that support you. Who are you receiving them from? It could be your pastor, your church. Name drop. Do you know the mayor? Do you know politicians who can write you a letter of support? Could be your vendors. It could be community leaders, right? Now, if you are currently operating, you know you need your financial statement, your balance sheet, and your profit and loss statement, which is also called an income statement. You also need a current operating budget. Now, do not freak out because I say you need this, because you do, because you can get a template from the internet. All this is a budget that will indicate what you think your expenses are going to be for a year. Like at the end of the day, you need to know approximately how much money it's going to take for you to operate over the course of a year. That's all it is. All right. You can estimate, but it will help you to decide how much grant money you should be asking for based on how much overall money that you need. All right. All right. Now I'm going to go through the typical components of a grant application and give you best practices. All right. Let's start with the mission. It is everything. You need a mission. Yes, even you as a small business, it is a requirement if you are going after grant money because it defines who you are and what you do and your aims and your goals. And you need to align your mission to the mission of the organization that's providing grants. So if you are like laser focused on K through 12 education, find a foundation that also has a passion for education. And know you're not changing your mission based on what foundation you seek money from. Your mission doesn't change, it's static. All right. You seek organizations that align to your mission. All right. So if you don't have a mission, that is homework 101 for you. Got it? Homework 101. All right. Now, this section here is where you are going to set yourself apart from the pack. It is how you describe your organization. And I want all of you to think about one word, impact, using real numbers. Now, Grant funding changed a couple of years ago. No longer are these foundations giving money to organizations saying that they just want to heal the world, they just love world peace. No. Results, impact. How are you changing the world? What has been your impact on those for whom you serve? Let's say you have a restaurant, you're an LLC, you open up a restaurant. How many people do you serve over the course of a year? Do you have any community projects? What has been the impact of your restaurant, even in the surrounding economy? What has been your impact? You have a homeless ministry. How many homeless people do you place in shelters? And what is the result? Are they finally getting their GED? Are they getting jobs because now they have a shelter? Real numbers. And let's say you haven't opened, right? You haven't opened yet. You still write about what you hope your impact will be, what you expect your impact will be once you open. So let's say you have an accounting, well, not an accounting, let's say you have a tutoring organization, right? You want to open up a tutoring academy for, let's say, high school kids, right? You can write about how you expect once those students complete your tutoring classes, that you expect them to increase their reading proficiency scores by 10%. So whether you are currently open or maybe you are opening, you still write about impact using real numbers. This is how grant funding is being provided. All right. And at the end of the day, you must write as if you are resolving an issue or solving a problem. Doesn't matter if you are nonprofit or for-profit. A lot of small businesses really, they struggle with this concept of writing, like, how is it that I'm solving a problem? So let me give you an example. A bakery wants a $20,000 grant to locate in a downtown community. Now you might be asking, what is the problem she's solving? She's making what? Red velvet cake all day, right? Well, maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery because vegans really don't have a lot of great places, right, to buy baked goods. So she's solving that problem. Or maybe it's about economic development because where she's wanting to relocate is an underrepresented community full of blight. And she wants to move in and help with the economy. So she's going after a community development grant. Whatever that reason is, it needs to lead you to the foundation that wants to give you money because they're going to be giving money to organizations addressing the same problem, whether it's to open up a restaurant or to serve the homeless. That's why you must know how and where foundations fund. And how do you do that? You go to their websites. It's there. The only problem is 90% of foundations don't have a website, but most of the larger ones do. Most of the community foundations do have websites, but it means you still need to be creative in finding information about some of them. And also the target population. I tell you, this is where some of you get into trouble. I've been a business coach for 16 years now. And when I ask clients who they serve, too often I help everybody. Oh, I just help everybody. You can't help everybody. I've been in business 17 years. I'm here to say this to you. You cannot help everybody because the more you start piling on your services or people that you want to help, the more you dilute your offerings. You can't serve everybody. Niche down. It's going to be easier for you to find grant money the more you niche down. If you tell me you serve veterans, I'm going to ask you veterans who? Homeless veterans, veterans with PTSD, niche down. And use one, maybe two targets that you're helping. Take that restaurant. Maybe they open up a soul food restaurant because that's their niche. That's their target population, right? No matter what you do, whether it's nonprofit or for-profit, you've got to define who you're serving predominantly. All right. Now, at the end of the day, people, get excited. Like, I feel this trepidation. Get excited about writing these grants because this is your opportunity to tell your story. That's what a grant application is. And now you get to tell it to somebody who actually wants to hear it, because that's what foundations do. They love to hear information about what's happening, right? with businesses, with nonprofits. So get excited about this chance to tell your story and use real examples, use testimonials. If you are currently open, have your clients pick up their cell phone, give you a 30-second testimonial, put it on the homepage of your website. It's an incredible way to use video, right? But get excited about this. These grants are available. Now, all of you have a decision to make, though. Are you asking for operating grants or program project grants? You have to decide one or the other per foundation. Now, you know, we love to get operating grant money, right? Because when you get that operating grant, you get to decide where to put the money. It could be towards your lease, IT, your salaries, right? Your staff. Operating funds really help you build up your infrastructure, right? Build your capacity or pay for your administrative costs. But most grant money must go to a particular program or project, which is okay. Let's take that same bakery. Maybe she wants to start a delivery service. That could be a project, right? But at the end of the day, you must apply to multiple foundations. All right? Why do you think that is? Let me know in the chat. Why do you think it is important that you must apply to multiple foundations? Let me know in the chat. At the end of the day, people, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is not a one and done industry. Like at all times, you should have multiple grant applications submitted. So why do you think that's important? Let me see. Because many others are applying along with you. Stephanie, yes. Yes, yes, yes. More opportunities, Sophia? Chances of better securing the funds? Sherry, yes. Competition, definitely, Kenya, right? Increases your chances. Yes. Nachi, Delane, Kira, absolutely. But here's another reason. Grants are not guaranteed. I don't know where that came from. I was talking with a colleague the other day. She's probably been in the business as long as I have. And we were like, where did this come from that there are guaranteed grant money? This is how people get scammed. And I see it all the time on social media. Apply here, everybody approved, nobody denied. And then you get scammed. So just be careful. All right. No such thing as guaranteed grant money. Apply to multiple foundations. Now, community partnerships, I cannot possibly express to you how important this is. This will strengthen your grant application. All right. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you have an accounting firm. You could give a free tax talk once a month at your local library. And I think libraries, by the way, are criminally underutilized. They can be such phenomenal community partners because they're going to promote your talk. Now, why is this important? Because it will allow you to raise your level of visibility in your community, because some of you have phenomenal programs. Nobody knows about the program. Nobody knows about you, not even in your own community. But when you work with community partnerships, they help to raise your level of visibility, because foundations are always looking to see who's doing what in their community, right? Now, let me make this super clear. Let's say a young man has a re-entry program, right? He wants to help ex-offenders to make sure that they are reacclimated into society and become successful members of the community. Now, he's got to interview them while they're still an inmate to make sure that they qualify for the program. All right. Who should he be meeting with in the community? Who should be his community partners? Let me know in the chat. He's got to interview them while they're in jail. Make sure they qualify for the program. But the purpose is so that when they enter back into society, they become successful members of the community. Who should he be meeting with? Let me know in the chat. Absolutely. Kenya, law enforcement, right? He's got to get into the jail system. Halfway houses, right? You don't want the people to be homeless. Ruby, yes, Black Men of America, absolutely. Organizations, right, that will help, maybe mentor the ex-offenders, tutor the ex-offenders, police officers, Kathy, absolutely, right? They've got to get into the jail system, the sheriff's office, probation officers, right, Ghislaine, absolutely. Probation officer, do you want them to get a job? Do they need to be trained? Bail's bondsmen, absolutely, Kenya. City Hall, they need to know. Maybe they have programs. You want the person to be able to work, right? Do they need some type of workforce development training, right? You want them to be housed. You don't want them to be homeless. Absolutely, pass Lenore recovery programs because a lot of them may have addictions. So you want them to go into recovery programs. Absolutely. Absolutely. And family resource centers, right? Maybe they have children. You see how we came up with what, 12, 14? Right? Expungement programs. Absolutely. Absolutely. Expungement programs, right? Absolutely. So now you see, this is not difficult. This is not difficult, right? Not at all. So this is what I want you to do. This is your homework. I want you to come up with 5 organizations that you are going to meet with based on your organization. All right. I see some great questions. Keep asking them. But this is your homework. Name 5 organizations. This is your homework. Name 5 in your community that you're going to meet with. And you don't need to have solidified the partnership before you put them on the grant application. You can be meeting with them, right? And you let the grant application, you write into the grant application that you are currently arranging partnerships with these organizations. But that's your homework. Name 5 based on your program or service. Now we're at the money. We're talking about money now. The budget is going to be how you display your use of the grant money. How are you using it? Itemize your expenses. Now, let's say you need a $50,000 grant for an executive director. You can't just write any 50 grand for an ED. Itemize. Is it a contracted person? If so, how much money are you paying the person per hour? How many hours are they working a week? How many weeks out of the year? You need supplies for the grant. What do you need? How many supplies and who's using the supplies? The budget narrative will explain how you're using the grant money. And here's a tip, whether or not they ask for a budget narrative, I always provide one because I always want the funder to know that I need to connect the money back to the goal of the program. All right, so that's a little tip for you. Now, I believe some of you are saying, Linda, this doesn't sound too bad, but I don't have time. I don't have time to write these grants. I don't have time to write these grants. Remember I said to you at the beginning, that a lot of grant applications are 3, 4, 5 pages. Foundations don't have the personnel to sit through 100-page documents. That's 1. 2, you have AI now. AI will give you back your time, right? AI will give you back your time. We'll talk about ChatGPT a little bit later and how you're supposed to use it. But I have a question for all of you that are thinking, I don't have time for this. And I would like an answer in the chat. All of you. Do you have time to get free money? Do you have time to get free money? Let me see if anybody has time to get free money. I don't think anybody has time to get free money. Oh, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Oh, I'm seeing so many yeses. I'm saying yep. I'm saying indeed. I see I'm making time. I'm saying yes, yes, yes. So it sounds to me like you got time to get free money. So if you've got time to get free money, I need for you to spend just a little time on the process to get free money. So what are you going to do? You're going to create some relationships. Now, people, this is the slide here. If you don't take anything else away from this webinar, this is it. So you take your screenshots, you do whatever you need to do. You're going to get the replay though. But this is as or more important than anything you will ever write in that application. You need to meet with the foundation first. You need to build a relationship. This is often the deciding factor. And you want to meet with them because they're considering giving you their grant money, and they want to meet with you. They want to know who you are. I probably set up 1,000 of these meetings in the last 16 years. I always remember one 30-minute Zoom meeting. My client got $30,000 because the missions aligned, right? And this becomes so important. So meet with the foundation first. This is often the deciding factor, all things being equal. Did you build a relationship? Do they know who you are? Because in that meeting, let me tell you, they will give you information. They will give you insight into the grant that is not on their website. All right. So you meet with them. And yes, I said Zoom. Most of these meetings are 30-minute Zoom meetings. Now, if you live in close proximity to the foundation, you meet with them in person. All right. How are you going to do this? You're going to send just an email introducing your organization, but there are ways in which you design the email. This is why being in a community helps and getting the framework helps, right? Because there's ways in which you write this email. Whatever you do, you don't ask for money. I will give you that. If you start asking for money in the email, that is an automatic rejection letter. All right. You never ask for money in the email. You ask for a meeting. In the meeting, you ask for money. All right. All right. Now we're on to finding the grants. This is grant research, right? Foundation Directory Online is a leading source of information in the US on grants. Now, yes, they did change their name to Candid, but they still use this URL for their search engine, right? The portal. And let me say to you, Google is fine, but you need a specific portal that provides grants. Now, Foundation Directory Online, they don't give you a list of grants. They give you a list of the organization that provides grants. So if you have a program in Detroit where you help homeless veterans into transitional housing, you plug that in and you will get a list of organizations that provide grants for your type of program, right? Grants.gov, we know that that is still the sole source, right, of all of the federal grants. Lilly Foundation, do I have a church with me? Do I have a faith-based organization? Yes, you can get grants. Lilly Foundation is the largest funded religious organization, but even Walmart gives grants to churches. Yes, they do. All right. Grantwatch.com, $20 a week or $200 for the year. And they do give you the actual grant opening with the synopsis, with the contact information, right? $20 a week or $200 for the year. Grant Station is $200 for the year. I love them because I think they do one of the best jobs of giving you the opportunity to really hone in on your service or your program. UrbanAwarenessUSA.org, they are Black owned, support them. They have so much free information, free training, information about grants. Tell them Linda sent you. Sign up for their free newsletter. You will not regret it. All right, now let me show you really quickly how you can conduct grant research. This is Grant Station, $200 for the year. Look over here under areas of interest. Every block you see, there's probably 20 drop-down blocks. You include your area. You include your target population, the type of support. Is it nonprofit? Is it for a small business? You push a button, you get a list of grant opportunities. Now, let me say something to you about location, because I truly believe that many of you leave money on the table. You should start local. It's easier to get local money. It's easier to get local grant funding. Don't be seduced by these $2 and $3 million government and national grants. Start local. Meet with your local community foundation and other corporations that provide grants, especially your utility companies. Oh, they have deep pockets, right? Start local, but don't disregard your national grants, right? Because there could be a grant maker in Texas giving money to you and you're in Tennessee. Also, for the global community, this is for you as well. You don't have to live here in the United States. You don't have to be stationed here in the United States. You could live in the US and serve a population in Kenya and get grant money. You could live in Nairobi and serve a population in Nairobi and get grant money, right? Keep in mind, a lot of these organizations are global in scope, all right? But this is Grant Station, $200 for the year. Now, these are some hot grant areas: healthcare and telehealth, definitely. STEM and AI innovation, absolutely. There was like a $3 million grant available in AI that I saw about a week ago. The hottest: workforce development and job training. If what you are providing includes skills, include job training, include apprenticeships, include interns, this is the hottest market right now for grants. And then community and economic revitalization for sure. Now, I won't go through this list of grants. I won't go through every one, but I just want you to understand that there are still grants for you as a Black organization, regardless of what you are seeing on TV. I have to talk about progressive for a moment, because 2 years ago, this is how the organizations are tweaking, right? 2 years ago, Progressive came out with a grant. It was a $25,000 grant. You had to be a Black-owned business, and you had to buy a car with the grant. Like, I had never heard of that in my life before, in my career before. So I think a couple of organizations tried to sue them because they had mentioned that you could only be a Black-owned business. This year, just this year, this is open now. They have a grant, right? They doubled the money. So now it's a $50,000 grant. And yes, you still have to buy a car with the grant, right? So given the history of this grant, if I were you and you meet the qualifications, I would be applying for this grant. You have to buy a car with the $50,000. So the car, truck, whatever has to be utilized, right, in the course of your work. All right. Operation Hope, John Hope Bryant, his goal is to create 1 million Black businesses. He's at 400,000, right? LISC, they've given away over $1 billion since they have been in business, and they support communities of color. You want to open up a Black hair care salon? Shea Moisture, right? Are you a filmmaker that you want to create a film about the African diaspora or the African American experience? Ford Foundation, they're giving funding. Maybe you are a small nonprofit and you're thinking, Linda, this is just not for me. Like, I'm teeny tiny. I'm a real out of Texas. That's all they do is focus on small nonprofits, right? Or maybe you're saying, this is not for me, Linda, because I don't have some large organizational chart. I don't even pay myself. All volunteer nonprofits get grant money too. They do, right? Lilly Foundation periodically has grants for Black churches. There's a worship grant as we speak, a worship grant. And if you go to the website, you know who is geared for. You know who is geared for, right? There are ways in which these organizations are getting money to where they want their money to go. All right. So you keep that in mind when you leave here. All right. You have a startup, busy, sky's the limit. They both have startup grants. I know I have a lot of women on here with me. So this is just for you. I'm just going to talk about two. HelloAlice.com. Right now they have 6 open grants. Amber Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 every month. 10,000 to startups, 10,000 to just women in business, and then 10,000 to an industry. And for May, the focus is mental and emotional health. So if you have a program that revolves around mental and emotional support, that's for you. All right. Now, all of you, I want to know in the chat, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money. What is like the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money, banks and money. Let me know in the chat, banks and money. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Loans, loans, loans. Yes, loans, loans. Banks seem to be closing per the news. Some are, your larger ones are, or some of your smaller ones are. They don't like to they don't like to part ways. They don't give us the same rates as other races sometimes. Sometimes. Do you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money? grant money, not loans, grant money in the United States. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in grants. You haven't been going to the right person or the right people. It's not your branch manager. It's going to be a VP, either of community development or community reinvestment. I'm placing those titles in the chat so you know who you should be speaking with. And it doesn't have to be your bank. It could be a regional bank or a headquarters bank. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, collectively billions. I show this to you so that you understand not all grant money comes from the federal government, right? You should be applying for these grants. I'm giving you 4 hot leads right now. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, Truist. They all give to nonprofits and for-profits, except for TD Banks. They typically, but that's not true. That's not true because I saw one of their grants a couple of weeks ago and they were strictly for-profits. So they all give to both. All right. And yes, you will need to meet with them and establish a relationship. Now, let me talk about artificial intelligence really quickly. ChatGPT, it's not coming, it's here. But please understand you have to know how to use it. There's no magic button. There's no button you push and poof, the magical grant application appears. No. At the end of the day, you must understand how to write this grant application yourself, and then you feed it. You feed parts of it into AI so that it can retool your copy and make your copy better. But there's no substitute for you understanding how to write about your organization, your mission, your impact statement, your statement of need. But you have AI be your buddy and help you once you write about it and feed it into AI in the form of prompts, right? But there's no substitute. This is your organization. You have to be super careful because those organizations that are just expecting AI to write a grant application, they're getting dinged because foundations have software now where they can detect whether or not the entire application was just written by AI. You have to be careful ethically, right? But you're not using somebody else's words. This is why you have to understand how to write, feed it into AI, and then let AI use your words to better parts of that application. So speaking of you needing to know how to write, this is the bonus surprise. I have something that's going to help you. I created a grant writing course so that you understand how to write every aspect of this grant application about your organization. If you want to feed it into AI afterward, perfect, but you've got to understand how to write. This is how I won $17 million. I put in a course so that you could do the same, and you have a distinct advantage because I'm going to be serving as your coach. All right. Remember, I said from the beginning, it's about more than what you write in an application. It's about how you position yourself. Now, the course will teach you how to write every part of the grant narrative. It will teach you how to do the research so that you are finding organizations that want to give you money. But here's where the coaching comes in. Let's say you're meeting with the foundation. Do you know what to say? Do you know how to say it? Do you know what to bring with you? Do you know what questions to ask? Right? Do you know the information that you must have before you leave that meeting? You come into our private Facebook group and you let us know, Linda, I'm getting ready to meet with ABC Foundation. I need help. You're going to get help. We're going to tell you what you need to do. That's where the coaching comes in. The course will teach you how to write your budget, but do you know how much money to ask for? Because not all grants tell you the amount of the grant money. Should you be asking for program project money or operating money? You come into the Facebook group, you ask, you get answers from real people, including me, and not bots. I'm in there all the time. All right. Now, what are you getting? 12 modules, 35 lessons, 30 videos, but this is not some YouTube all video course. No, I have real lessons that you are to answer the questions because part of my job was to create grant applications, meaning to build the grant questions. So I've utilized grant questions from real applications to build this course. So when you are in this course, it's like you are completing an in-depth grant application, only now you get help, right? Now you get help answering all of your questions so that when you're done, you have a phenomenal grant template that you're using to apply for grant after grant after grant. But now it's faster and easier because You've done the work in here, but you've done it with help, with a phenomenal support system, including me and the Facebook group, right? And yes, you get real grand examples, by the way, so that you see what an approved grant looks like, right? And I do something nobody else is doing in the country. I'm giving you a list of over 600 organizations that provide grants. 600. And then you get this incredible private Facebook group. And let me tell you, that's where the new grants are. We're constantly putting in new grants, constantly. And guess what? The students, this is what's amazing. The students, they drop more grants than even I do, because every student is trying to get every other student grant money. It's collaboration, it's not competition. I've created a community of support for you so that you can stop wondering where you should be going, how you should be approaching organization, where you should be looking, what you should be saying. Is this the right organization that I should be applying for money for? I have a meeting. What do I say? And I even give you an hour of group coaching with me live so that I can answer your questions, right? I do not want to be another hurdle for you. I want to be a help to you, right? And so this is what I'm offering for you. And I want you to look at these numbers because they're very important, but they're not even close to what you're paying for this course. But I've had my course audited 3 times because I wanted to make sure I was providing value to you. And so the 12 modules, 35 lessons, valued at $3,549. It's like a university college course, only it's easier because you have a lot of help. 30 intro videos, $5.99. 600 funders list worth $4.99. You get workbooks, planners, grant trackers, because you have to be organized. We help you, worth $350. But this is not what you're paying. You are paying a super, super, super low price because I know that this course has been proven. It has been proven to help organizations get grants. Organizations that had never written a grant before. My coaches, they think I'm crazy. Like, they know I should be charging $2,000 because my colleagues charge $2,000 for their grant writing courses. And you don't even get access to them. You get access to me, right? So this is literally what you're going to be paying. This is literally as low as I can go. People, I have other services that are significantly higher, but I keep this low because I know it can help you. And I don't want this price to be a barrier. So yes, it's a $5,000 course easily. The regular price is $997, which is a significant amount off. I reduced the price to $497 because I know what's going on right now. I know people need help. But you hopped on the webinar, letting me know that you are truly serious about getting help, because I know you could have been somewhere else at 7 o'clock tonight, right? So you get to take $200 off of even the regular discount price of $497. Yes, everything for $297 is one payment. It's literally one payment. You get the course, you get the coaching, you get the Facebook group, right? So that you can finally place your organization in a position to not just write a bunch of grants, but to start winning grant money. Just make sure you use the code that I have there, MAY22, that will get your $200 off. If you need more time, you need 2 months to pay, that's fine. We have a 2-month payment plan, $175 a month for 2 months. Put a little T on the end of your code. Let us know you want the 2-month payment plan. And you read right at the end, the course never expires. Now, you know, a lot of these courses, they expire after 6 months, 9 months. A young lady just told me earlier today, she said, Linda, I bought the course over a year ago. Like, I need access again. What do I have to pay? Absolutely nothing. You get the course, the Facebook group, the coaching, write everything off because it's tax deductible. You're a nonprofit, it's an expense. You're a for-profit, it's a business or educational expense, write it off. And you even get a certificate of completion. And you get templates. I'm trying to make it easy. Remember I said you need to meet with the foundation? I have the email template already made for you. Remember I said you need to create partnerships? I have the partnership letter already created. I have a grant application template created. I have financial templates created. You get everything, all of it. $297, less than $300. All right, you got 3 days. They get the additional $200 off. 3 days. All right. So if you want to buy the course, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. If you want to buy the course, this is how you buy the course. All right. I'm going to take you through it so that you understand. Keep in mind the codes are all lowercase. You want to pay $297, hit the link. You will see this page. Hit $497. You will see this page. $497 is what people pay. You have a coupon. Most people don't have a coupon, and you have a huge coupon because you came on the webinar. You put in the MAY22, it will take off $200. You're paying $297. Now you see this little block here. This is a deep dive between you and me, a private VIP session. I get you together in that hour because before we talk about grants, I'm going to analyze your mission, vision, yes, your infrastructure, yes, your target population and your programming, and you even leave with a little mini list of local and national grants. You leave with complete clarity because many of you, and I get it, you don't know where you should be focused. You have like 10 different ideas. You'll leave with one, right? It's $495 for the hour. That's what people pay because you get the strategy notes and you even get the video. The only time you'll see it reduced to $195 is if you buy it with the course. If you buy it separately, it's $495. If you buy it with the course, it's $195. So you can add it on to $297. And we even have Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna for those of you who want 4 months, same as cash. You think about this. The course is $300. You divide that over 4 months, you're paying $75 a month, people. I don't even know a grant that's $75. As soon as you get a grant, you pay for everything, right? Get everything back. So yes, we do offer Affirm, Afterpay, or Klarna. So if you just if you want to take advantage of the 4 months same as cash, when you go in to include your code, put in your code, get it down to $297, put in your email. When you start to go to the payment box, you may have to click pay another way. And then eventually you will see Affirm and Klarna, or there's Afterpay. If you don't want to deal with the 4 months, right? The 4-month payment plan. You just want to pay the $297. We certainly take credit card, PayPal, Cash App, Google Pay, or even a bank withdrawal. All right. Make it easy. Now, you may just want to pay us twice. That's okay too. You want to pay us twice? You want the 2-month payment plan that we provide? Hit 2 times $275. That's the payment plan. But input your coupon. Remember, it was MAY22 with a little T. The codes are right in the chat. Right in the chat. Input your MAY22 with the little T. It will take off $100 a month. You're paying $175 a month for 2 months, and then you're done. And yes, you can still add on the grant coaching. Now, for those of you who are ready for something different, I have grant writing boot camps. I will teach you 2 months worth of work in 2 days. And at the end of those 2 days, you literally will leave with a completed grant application. You will leave with a grant template. You will leave with a large list of local and national grants geared to your organization. You will leave with your partnership list. I will teach you how to use AI to write your grants, but you will leave with the grant application done, completed, right? 2 days, 7 hours a day. At the end of those 2 days, you are ready to go. I held my boot camp February 27th and 28th. Keisha took it. Keisha had never written a grant before. 6 weeks later, she had her first grant. 2 weeks after she got her first grant, she got a $100,000 grant. It's $1,997 or 2 monthly payments of $1,249. You get literally $11,000 worth of information, resources, my time with you for 14 hours, 7 hours a day, right? 2 days. And yes, it is individualized to you. So we set up a time to meet, and you need to be ready to go because this is some work, but it will pay off. It will pay off. All right. So let me know if you're interested in the boot camps. The link is in the chat. Now, these people paid less than $300 for the course. This is all they paid, $300 for the course. Whitney got $200,000. I want you to think about the ROI on this, the return on investment. $300, she got $200,000 in 1 year, right? She did exactly what I'm telling you to do. She started local. Her utility company gave her $40,000. National Birth Equity gave her $50,000. She has a doula organization. Tanisha, 3 months ago, got $100,000. Kimberly, I don't think it's been 2 weeks. She got $84,000. Cherie, 2 weeks ago, $11,000. A lot of these people had never written a grant before. They took the course, they followed the information, right? Now, here's a clue. Cherie got $11,000 from the same organization that she had written a grant for the year before, right? So here's a clue. When you get a grant, you go back in 1 year, you apply for another grant, but you always increase your ask. You always ask for more money. And that's what she did, and she got it. All right. A massage company in North Carolina got a $20,000 grant. They said, we are very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing for their business. What could you do with a $20,000 grant? They had never received a grant ever. But they did what I'm asking you to do. They took the course and they followed my guidance. And they allowed me to coach them. They allowed me to help them. Alicia got $40,000, right? Christina has an online educational consulting firm. No, you don't need to be a brick and mortar. You don't need to have a physical location. $10,000. She said she would not even have had the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for the grant writing course. Guess who won the LegalZoom grant? Emily, $10,000. Quenisha, $750 grant for Walmart. That's the lower amount, but guess what? It paid for the course and the coaching. She took the one-on-one. But guess what? Now she's a partner with Walmart. So what is she going to do the next year? She's going to ask for more money, and she'll probably get it. All right. This is bonus one. I have 2 bonuses for you. I talked to you about AI. I don't want there to be an excuse of you not having time, because AI will give you back your time. Learn how to use it. This is an intro. I wrote an intro guide, 10 steps to easier and faster grant writing. It includes a tutorial video, and it includes over 100 prompts so that you can start writing grants even faster. You get it free if you buy the course by Sunday. Now, have you heard about the U.S. Black Chambers? They are the lead organization for all of the local Chamber of Commerce's, the Black Chambers, right? They provide a Buy Black list. Subscribe to it is $200. I have the latest version, the May version. You buy the course today, you will get it for free. I'm here to tell you that there are grants geared towards you as Black organizations. Don't believe everything that you see on TV. This particular list has grants for Black businesses and also nonprofits. You'll get it free if you buy the course today. All of this for $297, because I want to make it affordable for you, right? All right. All right. It's Q&A time. It's Q&A time. It is Q&A time. Now, before we do the Q&A, before you leave, I need you to do one thing for you, not for me, for you, not for me. I believe in manifestation. People, it's May 22nd. There's grant money available. So I need all of you right now, before you leave, to do something for you. I want you to write into this chat, I believe in manifestation. I want you to write into this chat, I am ready to get grant money. I need for you to write it out. I need for you to get it out of here, release it into the universe. Some of you have been waiting for a long time to get grant money. You've been sitting on the sidelines. You've been procrastinating. I know it happens. We all do it. Write this down. Stephanie, Makila, Ruby, Cherry, Nachi, Marcus. I'm ready to get grant money. Barbara, Kenya. Write this down. Get this out of you, Cheryl. I'm ready to get grant money. Because the last thing I need for you to do is get all this information and not do anything with it. Move forward, whatever you do. Like I would love to serve as your coach for less than $300. Oh my goodness. But even if you don't buy the course, whatever you do, don't stop here. There are people waiting on your skills. You've been trying to open up a business or a nonprofit for years. Here you have the opportunity to actually get help doing it. Move forward, keep moving. Kathy, Annette, Samantha, Catherine, Rhonda, I'm ready to get grant money. Lorraine, Eileen, Kathy, this is for you. Pastor Lenora, this is for you, right? This is for you to move forward. Don't let what is happening discourage you. That's the goal of it. That's the purpose of it, is for you to stop. $190 billion, somebody's getting it. Somebody's getting this money. And as you can see, Black organizations are getting grant money every day. That $84,000, that was, I don't think that was 2 weeks ago. Keisha, that $100,000, that was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. The money is available, but you've got to place yourself in a position to get it, right? That's why I believe in being in a community of support and using a proven framework to get it done. A lot of these people have never, ever, ever, just like me all those years ago, had never written a grant before. And let me say to all of you, and this is very important for you to hear me on, your success is on the other side of fear. It's on the other side of fear, right? Don't let being fearful keep you from what is meant for you to have. All right? All right. Kenya, Norma, that's what I'm talking about. It's time to get grant money. It's time to get grant money, right? All right. We're going to do the Q&A. Q&A. I'm going to start with the Q&A box. All right. Can this just be for startup funding for now? I am in the baby steps. I have no employees and barely making sales. My holdup has been lack of funds and lack of help. Well, I'm providing you the help for less than $300. You'll get, trust me, you'll get help, right? But no, you can apply for startup grants. Absolutely. I gave you two, Busy and Sky's the Limit. Busy, Bizee. When you get the replay, look on the slide with the grants, Bizee, Busy, and then Sky's the Limit. They both provide startup grants. Depending on who you are, if you're a woman, you can go to Amber Grants for Women because they have a startup grant too. All right, my success so far has been 4 books published on Amazon, and I have an online course that's not yet launched. Again, I need help with marketing the books and designing the course and taking care of miscellaneous tasks before it can be launched. I need money to help hire in various capacities. So it sounds like a startup grant would be for you. Also, just so you know, there are grants for authors. So I was hired to come in and do a talk to a Facebook group of authors, a successful Facebook group of authors. And so it forced me to do a lot of research on grants for authors. And sure enough, there are grants for authors, right? So this is the kind of information you get when you become a part of this community. Yes, there are grants for authors. Absolutely, there are. All right, let's see. I host an annual event for caregivers in my city. Would a grant help cover those expenses? Absolutely. Would my chances be better with the startup grants since I am basically stagnant? So startup grants can cover 0 to 5 years. Even if you have been in business 4 years, you can still get a startup grant. 0 to 5 years, right? Is what a startup is considered. Which grant would be great for LLC target population, youth and young adults, providing awareness of their social and emotional intelligence? Like, what are you doing with that? Right? Because those are buzzwords like social emotional intelligence. What is that? What are you doing with these kids? What are you doing with the kids? What is it that you want them to accomplish? Right? What is it that you are helping them to accomplish? When you apply for grants, this is for all of you. You've got to focus on the impact and the results. What is it that you're trying to get them to realize and become? What is the transformation? That's what I need for you to focus on, right? Because that will help you write about what it is that you are providing. Now, I'm going to take her example, and this is for all of you to hear. I'm going to take her example because all of you should be applying to multiple grants and multiple categories. I'm going to show you how you do this. Her target population is youth and young adults. She provides social and emotional intelligence, right? I need to know what that means though, but I'm going to do this anyway. So we know that she's a person of color, search for grants geared for organizations led by people of color. That's one grant opportunity. It appears that she's a woman, right? I don't make any assumptions, but let's assume her name is Ruby. Let's just assume. So now you can apply for grants that are geared towards women organizations, right? Your target population is youth. Now you can apply for grants that are geared towards those who serve youth, right? You mentioned social and emotional intelligence, right? So now that's the fourth category. Depending upon what you want to do, right, with them as you are increasing their awareness of social and emotional intelligence, what is it that you want them to do with that? Whatever that thing is, that's your fourth category, right? Because I don't know what this means, right? It could mean anything. Maybe you should be searching for grants under mental health and wellness, right? That's a possibility. Depends on what you're wanting them to do. Is there some mentoring involved? That's your fifth category. Now you should be seeking grants that are geared towards mentoring you. This is for all of you, all of you. Break down what you are doing because there are multiple grant categories in what you're doing. All right. Being a caregiver, I can't be committed to 7 straight and uninterrupted hours. Oh, that's for the boot camp. That's for the boot camp. So you don't take the boot camp. The course, we were talking about two different things now. Let me be clear about this. The boot camp is $1,997. That's for the boot camp. All right. The course is self-paced. The course is online on a program called Thinkific, and you go at your own pace. That's the course. That's $297. I don't want you to confuse the two. The course is $297. It's online. It's self-paced. You go at your own pace. You go at your own speed. People were interested in the $2,000 boot camp. That's 2 days, right? And that's what it is. That's the structure. It's 2 uninterrupted days. All right. But for the rest of you, the course, there's 3 platforms that the course works on. The course itself is on Thinkific. That's like the #1 platform for courses. The Facebook group of courses in Facebook. The monthly group coaching is live on Zoom. All right. All right. Let's see. Yes, Lorraine. Melissa, first of all, let's give Melissa some love. Melissa's in Africa. I always get it wrong. I think it's Zimbabwe, but correct me if I'm wrong, Melissa, because I'm always getting it wrong. Melissa, if you could, let's give Melissa some love because it's probably 3 o'clock in the morning there. Melissa, if you could please drop my email into the webinar chat. But also if you could drop the next link to the next session because someone came in late. So if you could just drop the link to the next session for Black organizations, that would be great. Do you meet the funder first or write the grant first? You always meet the funder first because oftentimes, this is important for everybody to hear, when you meet with the funder, they're going to let you know the exact areas where they are giving the grant money. So you may need to tweak your grant application based on the conversation with the funder. So you always meet with the funder first because it's going to guide what you write into the grant application. All right. All right. Do you have to have the determination letter from the IRS to seek grants, not to seek grants, to submit grants? So even if you're waiting on your 501c3 determination letter, you should be researching and writing grants because when you get the 501c3, the only thing you're going to do is just clip it to the application. That's all you do is you just clip it to, they're not going to ask you any questions about it. You just clip it to the application. So you can be researching and writing those grants now, but when you submit, you must have the 501c3. All right. I've started a transportation LLC that will be geared towards medical supplies, courier delivery. Got it. I need a high cube Sprinter van. Definitely look at that progressive grant. It's $50,000. I mean, it sounds like what you're doing is perfect, perfect for that grant because it means that your transportation is dependent upon your livelihood, right? I would absolutely apply to the progressive grant, but also, and here's a clue for all of you, right? I'm giving away a lot of nuggets. Go to your industry for grants. You're in transportation. Go to your industry, right? UPS, they have grants. FedEx, they have grants. Every single major airline has a grant. All transportation industry, right? All transportation industry. Got it? All right. All right. And I would like to mentor young men and women to get into the same industry for generational wealth and business building. You add that on to, that's totally different, right? Totally different. So you have a transportation LLC. Let's say you want to include in your business an internship program. You said you want to mentor young men and women to get into the same industry. That's going to get you closer to grant money because now not only are you providing services with your van, but now you have an internship. So that's workforce development, right? That's the hottest area that there is. So that's going to be a significant help for you, all right, in getting grants. All right. Teaching them how to understand the emotions and identify their emotions, how reacting to emotions in a negative manner will cause negative outcome and minimize suicide and institutional dependency, right? So that's behavioral, right? So literally you can start seeking grants that are specifically geared towards behavioral issues. That's why I was asking you, what is it that you're wanting to do? You're talking about behavior now. When you're talking about causing negative outcomes and minimizing suicide, institutional dependency, that's mental health and wellness and behavioral. So you can add that on to where you should be seeking grants. I need money to buy and rehab property in Gary to help build the community up. Gary, Indiana could use some love. What are you doing? What do you when you say rehab properties, what do you mean? Do you mean affordable housing? Now, let me say to you, if you mean affordable housing, that is a huge category. And I can tell you banks love to give grants in affordable housing. One of my clients was Habitat for Humanity. And so again, I had to do research for them. And so in my research, I had to create a list of grants that was all geared towards affordable housing. And so I know that there is significant money in affordable housing, significant. So you're in Gary, you need to start with your local municipality because talk about community development. You should be going after community development grants, affordable housing grants. You should be meeting with your county, with your city, right? Because what you're doing is in direct correlation with what they want Gary to be, right? So if I were you, I would start with meetings with your local government. What organization can caregivers seek for grants? You have to do the research. That's why we have a course, right? But I can tell you that there are grants for caregivers. I remember I talked to all of you about a grant station. It's $200 for the whole year. There are categories where you can literally check off a box and you can say, I am looking for grants that are geared towards caregivers. And they will give you a list of grants. That's why it's so important to use a portal, don't just use Google. Because if you input into Google, I need grants for caregivers, I don't know if anything's going to come up. But that's why these portals are so important. All right. I'm a Hispanic woman working for a home health care agency for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We're looking to do community outreach, such as school supplies, giveaways, homeless outreach, and scholarships for other minority youth and adults to further, excuse me, to further their education. As a Black-owned business, what grant should I focus on? You just name them, right? You literally just name them. I heard homeless outreach. So now you're applying for home grants that are geared towards homeless population, right? You mentioned education, but if I were you, I would focus because you mentioned a lot. School supplies, homeless outreach, scholarships, that is a lot. So if I were you, I would probably focus in on maybe doing one or two of those items and do your research and get grants to help you provide maybe one or two of those items. I get that you want to help everybody. I get it. I get it. But you'll be, I think, in a much better position to win grants if you focus a bit, right? If you just focus a bit. All right. I'm over it in the webinar chat. Yes, it's $297 for everything. For everything. It's $297. You pay it once and you're done. All right. You pay it once and you're done. All right, let's see. Other questions. You have 3 days to get the additional $200 off. You have 3 days. You have until Sunday. All right, let's see if there are any other questions, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Let's see. Can I apply for both in a separate application operating in project? No. No. If you're approaching a foundation, you're going to apply to either their operating support or their program project support. Now, what you can do is go to another foundation. So you can apply for operating support from one foundation and program project support from another foundation. All right. Very little support from organizations in my city to support an event I host yearly. Unfortunately, that's why I need my own money. I will search harder. I would say you need to search differently. You need to search, you need to search smarter, because clearly wherever you are whoever you're communicating with or whatever resources you are reaching out to is not of help. So you need to communicate differently. And that's where the course comes in. So let's say, for example, you bought the one-on-one with me. We're going to create a list of organizations that you should be seeking support from. And they're probably organizations that you never even thought about, because you may be going back to the same ones over and over again, looking for different results. And sometimes it just doesn't work, right? But this is what we do, right? We're able to provide resources where you should be seeking grants that you may not know about. I am presently a volunteer math teacher for a transition program for returning citizens. I've been a volunteer math teacher organization since 2013. All right. So you're in that area. Let's see. What if the nonprofit has not received the determination letter from the IRS? Can I still apply for grants? Again, you're going to research and write the grants. You're not going to apply yet. In order to apply, you need that letter. But in the interim, you should be researching and writing. All right. Let's see. Other questions. I'm going to take it down here and see. Zelle is not one of them, right? But, well, I don't want to say that, because when you go into the portal and you hit the bank, you may be able to pay through Zelle with that little, it will say bank. You may be able to pay through Zelle. If not, you can pay us directly through Zelle. So yes, we can take Zelle. I'm just not sure when you go actually and pay through the course, when you see the bank, I don't know if that's going to connect to your Zelle. I'm not sure about that. But if that's your method of payment, then you can pay us via Zelle. I need for you to send us an email. And you will receive a certificate of completion is what you will receive. A certificate of completion when you complete the course, saying that you have completed this grant writing course. All right, let's see. I answered that question already about meeting with the funder beforehand. Let's see if there are any other questions. All right, let's see. Thank you, Eileen. Let's see. Other questions? Yes, there are grants for authors for sure. Are these grants used for startup, for small business, or automotive? So when you say these grants, I don't know what you mean, because there are thousands of grants that you have to search for, right? You want to start up a small business automotive repair shop? Apply for a startup grant for small businesses, right? Automotive repair, I would go to your industry. Every single automobile company has a foundation, right? I would go to your car manufacturers and talk to them about grants. Everyone has a foundation, but you should be seeking startup grants, right, for your small business. Let's see. Like some of these questions were placed in the Q&A, so I've answered some of them. Let me just make sure that if there are no new ones, what about funding for a community center? What are you using it for? Depends on what you're using it for. Funding for a mobile shower for the homeless community, that sounds like a phenomenal idea. That sounds like a phenomenal idea, right? It sounds like you need to be meeting with your local community foundation, because I think that is a phenomenal idea. Mobile showers for the homeless community, that is different. That is different. So I would highly recommend that you meet with your local community foundation, but you need to know how to meet. You need to know how to put that grant application together and what to say. So I welcome you to come into the course so that I can guide you as to exactly what you need to do. But I can tell you that your idea is that's pretty unique. All right. That's pretty unique. Right. Even someone else is saying, like, that's excellent. Like, I've never even heard of that before. Mobile showers for the homeless community. I think that's phenomenal. And so make sure you're looking in the chat, because there are other people giving some of you ideas in the chat. So for example, Hera wants to create a mobile shower for the homeless community. And also, I don't know if that's something that you're creating yourself, because is that an adventure, or are you just paying for the mobile showers? But the other young lady says that's an excellent idea. You could probably have the local barber college provide free haircuts, right, for instructional hours. So this is how you get grant money, right? So let's say that local barber college could apply for grants because they are providing free haircuts for the homeless. Whatever you do, you've got to be doing something a little extra, right? You've got to be providing something a little extra. But before we do anything, we have to stop, because we have to give Cheryl some love. I need to see some clapping of hands. I need to see some hearts for Cheryl. She bought the course. She said, Linda, I'm tired of waiting. This money is for me. I need your help. I need your guidance. I need to see some hearts. I need to see some clapping of hands. Good for you, Cheryl. Invest in yourself. And when you get into the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you, this is important, for a synopsis of your organization. You respond directly to me, and I'm going to give you a list of like maybe 3, 4, 5 areas where you can go specific to your organization so that you can get a good start. All right. So watch for my question in the Facebook group, and that's for all of you. You buy the course, you get into the Facebook group. I'm going to ask you that question. I will give you just a little list of grants so that you know where to go exactly. And there'll be links to where you need to search, just so that you get off to a good start. All right. So good for you, Cheryl. All right. Let me just see if there are any other questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, Stephanie. How long can we utilize you after paying? I'm not sure what you're asking. So the course doesn't have an expiration date. The Facebook group doesn't have an expiration date. I give monthly live group coaching calls. There's no expiration date. Every month I give a group coaching call. The Facebook group is open 24/7. The course is online 24/7. So you have to come into the Facebook group and ask questions, right? And I will answer those questions, or staff will answer those questions, right? So as long as you're active, you will have access to me, as long as you're active, right? Okay, I have 2 tracks. Develop a program to build healthy foundations for students using mindful and movement, cultivating generational health. working with families, communities in order to decrease health disparities through programming app. Is there a direction that has a better funding opportunity? I say if you are developing an app, that one. If you're developing an app, definitely. Technology is always going to rule right now in terms of funding. All right, let's see. Yes, isn't that amazing? The mobile showers for the homeless. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. All right, let me scroll down. Let me make sure I've gotten all of the questions. I believe that is it. There's one more. I buy houses from the tax auction that I want to rehab so people can afford them to live. I also want to open some sort of living facility for college students. There's nothing like that. And I would do one first. Concentrate on the affordable housing. Do well at that. And then add on. Then deal with the living facilities for college students, right? Work on the affordable housing for the homeless, right? If that's where your area is, affordable housing. I think you mentioned it was for the homeless. Or if you want to build affordable housing for college students, you should be connecting with the college. The college should be your biggest partner if you are building living facilities for college students, right? The city and the college should be your two biggest partners. If you are building rehab, if you're building homes for the homeless community or low income, right? That's a little different. You get into the Facebook group when you purchase the program. So for those of you who are buying the program, you're going to get 3 emails. One email will be for you to create a username and a password, and you start the course. The course is online. And then you're going to get another email with a link for you to get into the Facebook group. And then the last will be a welcome. As a matter of fact, let me do this really quickly. Some people are asking, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you how to buy the course. For those of you who have questions, let me get this. Okay, let me pull this open. I'm going to show you how to do this really quickly. Let me get back here. All right, this is how you buy the course. You pay $297, right? You hit $497, you hit purchase now. I'm doing this live. All right, you have a coupon. Your coupon is MAY22. You input it, you hit apply. You see where it takes off $200, you're paying $297, that's it. You want to meet with me one-on-one? I'll get you together in that hour. You pay the $195, now you're at $492. If you don't want the one-on-one, take it off. Input your email. Now you're getting to the payment block. Now you may not see a firm right away. You may have to hit like pay another way, keep paying until you see a firm or Klarna or Afterpay. That's only if you want to make the 4 months same as cash. If you don't want to make the 4 months same as cash, use a credit card. Now somebody was asking about Zelle. Let me just hit bank. I don't know. See how different banks come up? And it may actually connect to your Zelle. I'm not sure, but it allows you to pay directly probably out of your checking account, right? Or you have Cash App Pay, Google Pay, right? Or PayPal. Those are your options. And if you want to buy just the 2-month payment plan, hit purchase now, 2 times $275. Input your coupon. Remember, it's MAY22 with the little T for 2-month payment plan. It will take off $100. You're paying $175 a month for 2 months. And yes, you can still add on the one-on-one. All right. So just want to make sure everybody got that. I believe we are done. Let me make sure I've answered all of the questions. Yes, you do have 3 days. You have until Sunday. But the bonus, the list of grants for Black organizations from the chamber, if you buy the course today, you will get that list of grants, right? That's published by the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce. If you buy the course before Sunday, you'll get the AI guide. Everybody will get the AI guide if they buy the course before Sunday. All right? You have until Sunday to get the extra $200 off. Let me make sure I'm just running through here through the Q&A. Make sure I answered all of the questions. I believe I have. All right. And in the webinar chat. Oh, Stephanie, you're reminding me of something. This is for everybody. She wants to get a grant before her event in October. Let me say to you really quickly the difference between a grant and a sponsorship, because all of you should be seeking sponsorships, I think, especially if you're having an event like Stephanie is in October. When you get a grant, the organization really can't expect anything of you of value other than you creating a grantee report to let them know how you spent their grant money, right? Sponsorships are totally different. Like any of you, if you are providing an event, you should be getting sponsors, right? With a sponsor, expect something in return, but expect to give something to get that funding, right? So if you get a sponsor from an organization, you have to give up something. Maybe you let them talk in front of your audience. Maybe they put an ad in your program booklet. Maybe they put their name on your marquee. I have a client, she has a marketing firm, but she niched down, right? She specializes in law firms, right? So she teaches law firms how to market their services. And I told her, I said, why don't you go to a high-end car dealership, because attorneys literally are higher income individuals. Go to your luxury car dealership in your community, ask for $30,000 sponsorship so that they can put their vehicle in front of your event, so that when your attorneys are going to the event that you're giving to for them, they have to pass by this luxury car. It's a win-win situation. You get $30,000. The car dealership gets to advertise their vehicle to part of their customer base. So if you are providing an event, you should be seeking sponsors. And by the way, yes, we have sponsorship kits, templates that we can share with you. All right. All right. I believe we are done now. You got to go to the different people, Stephanie. You're not going to the right people. You're saying there's too much jealousy there. Some people don't even know you. You're not going to the right people. You have to go beyond whatever that circle is that you're feeling jealousy from. You have to go outside of your circle, right? You need to be looking elsewhere. This is for all of you, because like someone else earlier said that people don't give money where they're. You need to go beyond local and national, local and national, right? Local and national. That's the issue, right? You got to go outside of wherever you've been circulating. Okay. All right. I am done. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals, and founder of LaPav Consulting. I want to thank all of you for hopping on. I hope this has been helpful. Whatever you do, don't let this be another webinar that you sit on and that you don't use the information. Keep moving forward. Do not stop what you are doing, but I invite you to come into a community of support for you so that you can get the help that you need, so that you can get the support that you need, so that you're not being confused. You don't know where to look. You keep running up against a brick wall. You keep running up against people that you're saying are this or that. You need to expand. We will show you how to get this done. Those people that you saw that won all those grants, most of them had never written a grant before. There's a framework that I have created that has been very successful for me and for the people in this course. All right, very successful. So I invite you to come into this community. And I thank you so much. I want you to have a safe evening, a blessed evening, a safe weekend, a safe Memorial Day weekend, a safe holiday. Do something for you, but keep moving forward and don't be discouraged by what you are seeing in the media. right? If it was up to them, you would think there wasn't a single grant available. Now that you know that there are billions of dollars available, share this information, right? Melissa, if you could drop the link to the next upcoming webinar, if you could just drop grant writing for non-writers into the chat, share this link, people, with your colleagues, with other organizations, other communities of color, so that they understand that there are grants available. Like, I want you to share this information so that you can also be a help to other organizations that are not understanding exactly what is going on. All right. So hopefully I will see you all in the Facebook group over the next 3 days. You have 3 days to get the course at the $200 discount. So hopefully I'll see you over in the Facebook group. All right. So thank you so much for hopping on. And again, have a blessed and a safe weekend. And I'll see you soon. All right. Bye-bye. I hope to see you, Stephanie.